Number?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Amma ba'd. We are continuing the book with Al-Wajiz, the chapter 5, ZAKAAH. Page number 281. The place of ZAKAAH in the religion.
Wait.
The place of ZAKAAH in the religion. The ZAKAAH is one of the pillars of Islam and one of its obligatory deeds. Ibn Umar radiallahu anhu narrated that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, Islam is built upon 5 pillars.
Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa mawala. For verily, any person who enters Islam, he needs to know the 5 pillars of Islam. And already, alhamdulillah, we explained the first pillar after the salah, from the practical pillars, that is after the shahadatain, that is the salah. We explained the salah and we finished all the things regarding the salah, from the wudu and the purity and the adhan and all of that. And we also explained the siyam because we had to go to chapter of fasting because of Ramadan. And also we explained the pillar of hajj because of the hajj time. So we're reversing that now. Usually it is the case, the zakah is before the hajj mentioned in the hadith. But because of the time of the hajj, and we have to talk about the hajj, that is why we forwarded ourselves into the book and we talked about the hajj. Now we're going to be going back to the zakah, and the zakah is a pillar which is so many Muslims, they are poor in knowledge regarding it. Either they are people who are not rich enough to know about the ahkam al-zakah, and that's fair enough. Because if you are poor, you don't need to learn the zakah rules. Or they are rich, but they are oblivious, they're not paying attention, and they don't really learn the religion in terms of how they should pay the zakah, and how much, and to whom. For those who are poor, we say to them, this is educational thing for you to know the rights and the due rights when you become rich, or the due rights upon a rich person in case you become rich, or in case somebody else who becomes rich or is rich, and if your friend asks you, or relative asks you, then you could give him and provide him with the answer. The richness and the poorness here, it does not depend upon just having got money. It's more than that. For verily, poorness, you could be a poor person even if you are a millionaire, because maybe you have got a big mansion or house and you got lots of money, suddenly you lost all that money and you're left with a house, but you can't even run your life. Are you considered from those who are eligible for the zakah or not? This zakah is defined religiously in particular items, not in everything. So if somebody has got millions of tables like this, there's no zakah. You give 5 tables out of them. Got millions of cameras like this, you've got no zakah. So the zakah is specified in items. We need to know these items. So in terms of its place in Islam, it's one of the 5 pillars mentioned before the hajj. And it was mentioned with the salah, the zakah, just as and as much as and more than the fasting and the hajj. 82 times in the Quran, the zakah was linked to the what? To the salah. So, الَّذِينَ يُؤْتُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَالزَّكَاةَ يُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَيُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ or يُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ وَيُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ. 82 times to emphasize the importance of the zakah. Just like the salah is the right upon your body to pray, the zakah is the right upon your wealth that you should pay. Now, there are plenty of ahadith regarding the prompting to pay the zakah. From Allah Azza wa Jal, we find this following verse, and you translate, خُذْ مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ صَدَقَةً تُطَهِّرُهُم وَتُزَكِّيهِمْ بِهَا. Surah At-Tawbah, verse 103, translation which?
Take alms from their wealth in order to purify them and sanctify them with it.
So this sadaqah, the purpose of it is to purify you. And also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said, وَمَا أَتَيْتُم مِّن رِبًا لِيَرْبُوا فِي أَمْوَالِ النَّاسِ فَلَا يَرْبُوا عِندَ اللَّهِ وَمَا آتَيْتُم مِّن زَكَاةٍ تُرِيدُونَ وَجْدَ اللَّهِ فَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُضْعِفُونَ. نعم.
And that which you give and give to others in order that it may increase your wealth by expecting to get a better one in return from other people's property, has no increase with Allah, but that which you give in zakat, seeking Allah's continence, then those they shall have manifold increase.
So what you give from the zakah, you intend wajh Allah, face of Allah, then these are the ones who are going to have a multiple. Also from the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, the author had chosen this following hadith on the authority of Abu Hurairah. He says, he who makes a sadaqah with the equivalence of a date, but it has to be from a halal provision. And Allah only accepts halal. For Allah Azza wa Jal will take it in His right, and then He will raise it and make it to grow for its owner, just like any person who would raise his foal. The mare raises the foal, which is the small horse. It's called the foal. Yeah. So when the person raises up his foal, makes it like big, exactly the same. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and even better, He would make that little date to grow up until it becomes like a mountain. Did He translate it as a foal or something else? Colt. Foal is better, isn't it?
The foal is like a baby.
The foal is a what?
The foal isn't a horse, is it? The baby.
It's a baby horse. What are you talking about? English. But I think foal is better than the colt. I think. Right, okay. So there are lots of things. Now the Prophet ﷺ, when he sent Mu'adh ibn Jabal to Yemen, and the residents of Yemen were Christian from the people of the book, he said to them, verily you're going to come to people of the book, that means they're not atheists. They are already monotheistic. But they have made some shirk into their deen. So they know already about the prophets. So the first thing that you call them to is the shahada. Shahada wa la ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammad. If they obey you regarding this issue, then you tell them that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had obligated upon you 5 daily prayers. Then if they have obeyed you in that, then tell them that Allah has made an obligatory portion of their money to be taken from their rich and given to their own poor. Not to be taken and levied and taken to the Prophet ﷺ. It's not a tax. To be taken from their own rich and to be given to their own poor. We're not taking it to ourselves. And that would encourage as well the people to pay the zakah. Right. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a number of verses He would say, وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ وَآتُوا الزَّكَاةَ. Right. So this is enough inshallah for prompting. Now we talk about the warning of the person if the person does not give his zakah. Right? We'll just give you to go ahead to read. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala وَلَا يَحْسَبَنَّ الَّذِينَ يَبْخَلُونَ بِمَا آتَاهُمُ اللَّهُ مِنْ فَضْلِهِ هُوَ خَيْرًا لَهُمْ بَلْ هُوَ شَرٌّ لَهُمْ. نعم.
And let not those who covetously withhold of that which Allah has bestowed on them of His bounty, think that it is good for them, and they do not pay the obligatory zakat. Nay, it will be worse for them.
Okay, let's just look at the issues. So, because you didn't bring the sentence. So, those ones who are stingy regarding what Allah has given them from His bounty, from the money and the wealth. So, let them know that those who are stingy, that don't they think that this is good for them because they're saving money, they're hoarding money. It's actually bad for them. سَيُطَوَّقُونَ مَا بَخِلُوا بِهِ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ. Whatever they have been stingy, did not give from what they're supposed to give, that will be encircled them on the day of the Rashi. It will be like a punishment on top of them. Like if you have not paid the sheep zakah, it's going to be a sheep on top of your what? On top of your neck, you're going to carry it. So he said, وَلِلَّهِ مِيرَاثُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ, and to Allah belongs the inheritance of the earth and the heavens. And Allah بِمَا تَعْمَلُوا خَبِيرٌ, and He is the all equated for what you do. Also, the hadith from Abu Hurairah, that the Prophet ﷺ, he said, he whom Allah had given him money, and he did not fulfill his duty regarding the zakah, then on the day of resurrection, he will have, continue please, the hadith, he will have on the day of resurrection,
On the day of resurrection, his wealth will be made like a bold-headed poisonous snake with
correct,
two
bold-headed poisonous snakes. Suja' aqra' lahu zabibatan. He's got what?
with two poisonous glands.
Lands. Okay, go on.
It will encircle his neck and bite his cheek and say, I am your wealth, I am your treasure.
Imagine a snake goes around you, and that two things that comes out from the mouth and start licking you. And that, it's not going to lick you, because it's going to bite you. I mean, you see a snake, you're on a far, so you can't throw it. How about a snake, bold, big, and it's got that two fangs, okay, which is the one that will bite you, and it's like encircle your neck and it's gonna lick, and you say that I am your treasure that you've been hoarding. You did not give the zakah of it. Also Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَالَّذِينَ يَكْنِزُونَ الذَّهَبَ وَالْفِضَّةَ وَلَا يُنْفِقُونَهَا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ فَبَشِّرْهُم بِعَذَابٍ أَلِيمٍ. Go ahead.
Those who hoard up gold and silver and spend it not in the way of Allah, announce unto them a painful torment.
يَوْمَ يُحْمَى عَلَيْهَا فِي نَارِ جَهَنَّمَ فَتُكْوَى بِهَا جِبَاهُمْ وَجُنُوبُهُمْ وَظُهُورُهُم.
On the day when that wealth will be heated in the fire of hell, and with it will be branded their foreheads, their flanks, and their backs.
هَذَا مَا كَنَزْتُمْ لِأَنفُسِكُمْ فَذُوقُوا مَا كُنْتُمْ تَكْنِزُونَ.
And it will be said to them, this is the treasure which you hoarded for yourselves. Now taste of what you used to herd.
Allahu Akbar. So any person who hoards gold and silver, banknotes, all of that, does not spend it in the zakah, then give them a tiding of that severe torment. And that torment is going to be, that gold and silver will be heated and you'll be branded with it. In your forehead, in your back, in your side. It will be said to you, this is what you've been hoarding. So taste the punishment of what you've been hoarding. Also, Abu Hurairah, the Prophet ﷺ, he says, go ahead.
The Prophet ﷺ said, if any owner of gold or silver does not pay what is due on him, when the day of resurrection would come, pages of fire would be beaten out for him. These would then be heated in the fire of hell, and his sides, his foreheads and his back would be cauterized with them. Whenever these cool down, the process is repeated during a day, the length of which is 50,000 years.
Allahu Akbar. In one day, which is equivalent to 50,000 years, this person is going to be branded, is going to be cauterized with those gold and silver which you did not pay the due right of them. That is his face, his forehead, and his back, his side. Go ahead.
Until the judgment is pronounced among the servants, and he sees whether his path is to paradise or to the fire.
Then it was said to the Prophet of Allah, this is the gold and the silver, so what about the camels? So he said,
if any owner of camels does not pay what is due on them, and of his due for them is to note it on the day when it comes down to water. When the day of resurrection comes, a soft sandy plain would be set for him, as extensive in length. He will find that not a single young one is missing. They will trample him with their hooves and bite him with their mouths.
So they will tap on top of you, each one after the other, and also give you a bite. No, go ahead.
As often as the first of them passes him, the last of them would be made to return during a day.
So that's the continuous, non-stopping circle. When the last one finishes, the first one starts from the beginning. In a day which is equivalent to 50,000 years until Allah makes the judgment between his slaves. So he will see his path, whether it's to paradise or to hellfire. Right. Now this is the person who does not, this is the warning not to pay. So what happened if you refused to pay it? So this is in the hellfire, what's going to happen to you, but what about in the dunya? Is there any punishment? Somebody does not want to pay it. He's been caught that he was not paying the zakah. In the hereafter we've seen the punishment. So what about the dunya? Go ahead.
Zakah is an obligation concerning which the entire Muslim nation is agreed. It is so well known that it has become part of the necessary basic knowledge of Islam, such that anyone who denies its obligatory status falls outside of the fold of Islam and is to be killed as a disbeliever or apostate, unless he is new to Islam and is excused due to his ignorance of its rules.
So we understand now, any person who says zakah is not supposed to be paid, he denies it, he's a kafir. Whether he's got money to pay zakah or not, whether he's rich or poor. Just when he says that, I don't think zakah is to be obligatory upon the people, he's a kafir. With the consensus of all scholars. It's different from the person who believes in zakah, but he does not pay the zakah. This person said, there's no zakah. So as I said, if a person said there's no zakah or alcohol is halal, whether he drinks alcohol or not, he is a kafir. This is possible. The time is about it. What adhan?
Adhan. 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock. Jazakallah. Fine. So that is what we say about the person who does say that zakah does not exist as a pillar from Islam, because it's one of the deen pillars, religion pillars, and known by necessity. That means as soon as you enter Islam, you know that. So this person will be killed as a kafir, unless he confesses this zakah because he committed apostasy. But if he doesn't know that, he's ignorant, he's a newcomer to Islam, that's something else. Now we come to the person who believes zakah is compulsory, but he doesn't pay it. Go ahead.
If a person refuses to pay it while believing in it and its obligatory status, then he is sinful due to his refusal to pay. But
that's sinful, that's in their resurrection. But now about the dunya, go ahead.
Due to his refusal to pay, but that does not take him out of the fold of Islam.
Okay.
However, the authorities should take the zakah from him by force, and should also take half of his wealth as a punishment.
Look at that. Islamic State, what will they do? They will take the zakat by force, and as a punishment, half of your wealth is gone. So let's say you had 40 sheep. The zakah is 1 sheep, from the average. Average, that means if all your sheep are chubby, then we'll take a chubby one. All of them are thin, we don't take the chubby one. Take the average, in between. So if this person refuses to pay the zakah, which is the 1 sheep, we'll take the 1 sheep plus what? 20 sheep. 20 sheep, half of his money before they take the zakah. We can't take 20 and a half or 19 and a half. Take half of his wealth. 10, 20 sheep. That's a punishment. عن بهز بن حكيم عن أبيه عن جده. Go ahead.
Bahz ibn Hakim narrated from his father on the authority of his grandfather.
And his name is, by the way, Muawiyah ibn Haybah, radiallahu anhu. If you want to put that, Muawiyah ibn Haybah, that's his name.
That he heard.
That means the grandfather of Bahz, the one who narrated from the Prophet, is called Muawiyah ibn Haybah. That's a companion. Yes, I heard the Prophet sallallahu
that he had heard the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say, upon every 43 freely grazing camels, 1 young she-camel is to be paid, and all the various camels are considered indistinguishable. The one who pays it seeking its reward shall receive its reward. As for one who refuses, we shall take it from him, as well as half of his camels, as it is a right from among the rights of our Lord, and none of the zakah is permissible for the family of Muhammad.
Look at that, the zakah is not to be paid to the Prophet. That is very important. You know, all partisans whom their leaders are come, when they take percentage from the people, where do they go? To his pocket. The Prophet saying that this zakah, nothing will go to the Prophet of Allah, nothing to his pocket. He says, لا يحل لآل محمد منها شيء. No zakah goes to the Prophet, because the zakah is the dirty money. Because you want to purify yourself in it. When you purify yourself, that means you're producing something which is dirty to purify yourself. And that should not go to the Prophet ﷺ, nor to his family. Until today, zakah, they're not supposed to receive zakah. So what about if one of them is poor? Then the state, they should provide them. Or people can give them gifts. Money gifts. but not zakah, not sadaqah. Even sadaqah, the gift, zakah, but it could be as well a salary from the government. But if there was no salary of the government, which is not at the moment, there isn't, then we say that we don't want to kill them as well out of hunger, so we give them from the zakat. But we're not supposed to take from the zakat. And that is why when Hussein took a date from the floor, Prophet ﷺ said, don't eat it. Could be what? Zakat, sadaqah. He doesn't want his grandson to take from the sadaqah. And even when he picked up the date himself, he said, I don't know whether sadaqah, had it been that I don't know the sadaqah or not, I would have eaten it. So the Prophet of Allah would not eat sadaqah or zakah. Fine. Now, we will fight the group of people if they have prevented paying the zakah and they believe in it. That happened at the time of Abu Bakr. Go ahead.
If a people refuse to pay it while believing in it and in its obligatory status, yet they have some type of military strength, then those people who to be fought until they pay it. This is based on the statement of the Prophet ﷺ, I have been ordered to fight against the people until they testify that there is none worthy of worship except Allah and that Muhammad is the messenger of Allah, establish the prayer and give zakah. Then if they do that, their blood and wealth will be protected from me, except in accordance with the right of Islam, and their reckoning will be with Allah.
Basically, what he's saying, when Abu Bakr fought the apostates, he fought them because the apostates are of three groups. One group who had denied whole Islam, came out of Islam. One group were siding with the one who is stronger, but they're still in between. And one group, they did not pay the zakah, but they believe in Islam. Those are the three groups whom Abu Bakr had fought. And that is why those group who have been denying Islam are kuffar, and those who are siding with the kuffar, and they want to know, these are the hypocrites. The third one is the Muslims. So Abu Khattab, he said to Abu Bakr, how can you fight someone who says La ilaha illallah? He said, Wallahi, I will fight them. Until they distinguish between the prayer and the fast and the zakah, I will fight them for that. And they used to give a'anaq, which is a tether of a camel. They used to give it to the Prophet of Allah as a zakah, and if they don't pay it, I will fight them for that. And Umar, he kept arguing, and then he said, I knew that Abu Bakr, Allah had opened his chest for this understanding, and he knew it was the haqq. And by that, a war of apostasy, the Islam had settled. Had it been for Abu Bakr, we don't know would it be where. Abu Bakr is the one who had established the Muslim state. He made it what? To be one. Can I just ask you brothers to come together? I mean, this is really scattered and I'm looking to an empty space all life. In front of the cameras, please. Can you just, ask you for the one at the back, can you just come here to the front? Leave the old men, the young ones. Can you just come here to the middle, please? To the middle of the front. The middle is empty. Shall I sit myself and meet somebody? So always sit in the middle. I don't have to really say it in the middle. Like you're here and you are here, the empty is middle. So why am I big to the camera? It's not right. Pray to Hikmah, brother. Pray to Hikmah. Stand up and pray to Allah. Very good. ZAKAAH. Fine. The Prophet ﷺ, he told us that we have been commanded to fight the people until they testify there is no God worthy of worship except for Allah alone and Muhammad is messenger, and to establish the prayer and give the zakah. If they did that, then they have secured their blood and their wealth, except the due right of Islam. That means that if a person had violated something, like that he killed another person, he is to be killed. Even if he says La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasul. If this person had stolen money, then he will be amputated with his hand. Even if he says La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasul. So except with the due right of Islam. And as for his account, it will be upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The other hadith we'll leave it for you to read, which is hadith Abu Hurairah. It's exactly almost the same. and which is, I've said at the end, Umar al-Khattab said, by the one in whose hand I knew that Allah had opened his chest, the chest of Abu Bakr, to fight, and I knew it was the haqq. Now, we find a hadith as well, hadith from Abdullah ibn Umar. I would like to read that hadith to show the impact of not paying the zakah, what happened. Prophet of Allah, one day he came and he said, Ya ma'shar al-muhajirin, all people of migrants, immigrants, the ones who migrated from Mecca to Medina, khams, 5 things. He said, the Prophet said, إِذَا تُرِيتُمْ بِهِمْ, if you've been struck with these 5 things, وَأَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ أَن تُدْرِكُوهُمْ, and I seek refuge in Allah that you live to see them. I seek refuge in Allah that you going to be struck with them. 5 things, you struck with them, what's going to happen? Number 1. These are the 5. Number 1, لَمْ تَظْهَرِ الْفَاحِشَةُ فِي قَوْمٍ قَطْ حَتَّى يُعْلِنُوا بِهَا إِلَّا فَشَى فِيهِمُ الطَّاعُونُ وَالْأَوْجَاعُ التي لم تكن في أسلافهم الذين قد مضوا. Meaning, any group of people, society, where the fahisha, fornication, becomes prevalent, something like the norm, fahish. So they fornicate and do all of that, and it's normal. Just like the people of Lot, وَتَأْتُونَ فِي نَادِيكُمُ الْمُنْكَرَ, and in your club you bring the munkar, which is the sodomy. So if you start boasting about the fornication, your fornication is nothing for you, then Allah will strike you with diseases, which was not the case in your previous ancestors. How true this is. Every time we find a cure for a disease, Allah strikes you with a disease. Syphilis, before, they found the cure. AIDS. Now, they didn't find the full cure, but they could see what suppressed it. But even if they find the cure, then they will, Allah, because fahisha, now you know that the fahisha, that everything is, there's no red line to draw there. Everything is like, unless, maybe a human being and an animal, they didn't allow that yet. But everything's everything. How they have? Where? With animals. So how can they know the consent of the animal? That's the whole thing. How do they know whether he's happy or not happy? I'm not joking. What is his consent? How can he sign a paper? So in Germany they've done it. I was talking about a long time ago. When did they pass this? Okay, I'm up to date with my information. Because I knew before that I used to talk about a long years ago. I mean, we had everything with everything. Okay. Maybe the last thing will be the children.
It's coming.
It's very coming. Yeah, the children. Pedophiles are going to be scrapped out of the picture.
They're pushing it.
Yeah. So the child likes it. He's not really suffering. So what else? That is why somebody said a long time ago, he said, let me get out of here before it becomes compulsory for me. Let me run away from here. In case I'm going to be tested now. Did he do it or not? Just like the people who know. You can't live except you're happy with them. Why are you making yourself above us? Why are you sort of trying to distance yourself from us? And you think that we are not good enough? So fear Allah, this is my daughter. Marry. You know that we don't have anything of your daughter. You're men guests. And men guests want them. Come bring them out. Imagine. That's by force, isn't it? Come, now bring them out. So imagine you're going to be living in a place like this. That's it. Who's your partner? So these days when you talk to a man and he's so nice to you, be careful, bro. Go on and know what's his intention. Sure enough. It happened to me, wallahi. Wallahi, it happened to me. But that was years ago, not now. I'm talking about back in the 1987. This guy's really got suits and very well dressed up, and he's an old man, he's older than me, about maybe 10 years, 15 years, very nice. And he just, and then he just chit-chat, yeah, chit-chatting, all right. And then he's wimpy, he invited me there and drink and drank. So as soon as I said, I'm going to go to my wife, she said, oh, you're married? He was shocked. why? So I didn't know, because at that time it was really strange. He said, no, I thought you are a gay. And that was a horrible word, that word at the time. I'm not. I am an Arab. He said, well, my partner was an Arab as well. So, how can I say anything? His partner was an Arab. That was 1987. So now how many years ago? Can't forget that man's face. Because he came to my house, didn't know about it. I scrapped him. I don't want him to come. How many years ago? 30 years ago, 32 years ago, 31 years ago. So the case now is normal. Before, Allah Musta'an. Right. Prophet ﷺ also said the second one, and if they did not give the right amount for the weight, so the person had sold something, and he did not give the right amount, he had conned regarding the weight, then Allah will strike them with the sineen, meaning the famine, and also the lack of provision, and also the tyranny of their leaders. SubhanAllah. So they're not just in giving the right amount, the right weight. Allah will give them the three things. Number one, famine. Number two, lack of provision. You'll find items there, you need them, is missing. Number three, tyranny of their leaders. And if they prevent to give their zakah money with the third one, Allah will prevent the rain to come onto them. And then he says, had it been for the animals, you would never be giving rain. So you could find people not paying zakah, but Allah sent in rain, not for them, for the whom? The animals. And that is why Abdullah ibn Abbas, he said, on the day when Allah says, وَيَلْعَنُهُمُ اللَّاعِنُونَ, and the cursers will curse them. He said, Abdullah ibn Abbas, that is the animals cursing the people of the earth, saying to the Almighty, we have prevented the rain because of your sins. They're cursing you. We're being prevented the rain because of you, because of your sins. You're not giving the zakat. The fourth one, and if they betray their covenant with Allah and His Messenger, they didn't adhere to His commands and His prohibition, Allah will impose upon them an enemy not from them, somebody else, not from the Muslims, outsider, and he will take some of what they are having in their possession, whether it's money or land or anything else. So people start occupying their land, and it's happening. Number five, and if their leaders does not rule by the book of Allah and choose from the book of Allah and from what Allah had revealed, from the sunnah of the Prophet of Allah, Allah then subhanahu wa ta'ala will make the conflict in between them. And the conflict between the Muslim country boycotting another Muslim country. Have you ever seen a Muslim country at the moment boycotting a non-Muslim country? You give me one example, please. Here is it. I could give you plenty of Muslim countries boycotting. Yes, non-Muslim countries boycotting Muslim countries, plenty. I'm talking vice versa. Muslim country which is powerful enough boycotting a non-Muslim country. You tell me, which was that? Tell me, think about it. We have Muslims that are very rich. They don't dare boycott a non-Muslim country. They don't. Because the leader will be gone. Allahu Musta'an, we'll stop inshallah here, that and make the prayer and we'll continue after that. Not pay the zakah. And now we come to upon whom the zakah is compulsory. I would like you to read, please.
Upon whom it is obligatory. It is obligatory upon every free Muslim who possesses the nisab.
Okay, so every free Muslim. So if he's not a Muslim, it's not obligatory upon him. And if he's not free, he's a slave, it's not obligatory upon him, because a slave is the property of his master. And the third condition is, go on, that he is owner of the nisab.
And 1 year has passed since
say owner of the nisab, just say.
The owner of the nisab. The free Muslim who possesses the nisab, minimum amount, and 1 year has passed since he has possessed the amount of wealth, except in this case of produce wherein the zakah is due upon it on the harvest day if it reaches the nisab, as Allah nisab, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said,
وَآتُوا حَقَّهُ يَوْمَ حَصَادِ.
Pay the due thereof on the day of its harvest.
Right. So upon the zakah is upon which upon whom? Muslim, free, and he's owner of the nisab. The third condition, owner of the nisab, means the minimum or the threshold. Got the threshold, then he has to pay the zakat. Got no threshold, he's poor. The threshold in each item is different from the other. We're going to see it inshallah. In gold is different from the silver. And bank notes, which is money, currency, is based upon the gold. We link it in the gold because it's more appropriate than to link it to the silver. And the fourth condition is every year except for the produce. Produce means the agriculture, plants. Every year. So it's a year which is, you have to make it here Islamic or lunar year, not in calendar year, which is the Gregorian. Because the Gregorian year is extra in days, isn't it? It's about 10 to 12 days difference between the Gregorian, which is the solar year, and the lunar year. 364, the other one, is 352 or 54, depending upon the lunar. The lunar year is either 30 days in a month or 29. For the solar year, it has 30, 29, 28, sometimes in February. Right. That's the fourth. So Muslim, free, on the threshold, 1 year passes, save the produce. The produce is the zakah when you harvest it. Usually you harvest every year, but some of the produce you harvest twice, sometimes 3 times a year. So every time, but it has to reach the threshold as well. The threshold of the produce is different from the threshold of the cattle, different from the threshold from the gold and silver and banknotes. Right, now let's go to the zakah, which is that you need to pay, or the things that you need to pay the zakah upon them. What are the things that is?
Zakah is obligatory upon money, crops, fruits, livestock, and treasure found in the earth.
Okay, so those are the things that have been mentioned here. So zakah is on, what he said to the, what is it? Gold and silver?
Money, crops, fruits.
Money, and this is the naqdayn, isn't the money here? 2. Gold and silver, and which is the money including the gold and silver. And produce and
fruits, livestock.
And not all the produce and not all the fruits. And the livestock is what? Sheep, camel, and cow. So deers, horses, no zakah. Goats from the sheep. Yeah, and the treasure which is found on the earth, and that treasure as well needs detail. What type of treasure? Pre-Islamic treasure, yes, you pay zakah on that, 5th. But if it's not, it's to do with that you found somebody hidden money, not the treasure at the time of Islamic. As well, we're going to discuss it when we come to the rikaz, inshallah. Right, let's go to the first one, which is zakatul naqdayn.
Zakah of money, gold and silver. The minimum amount upon which zakah is due upon gold and silver is 20 dinars. For gold and 200...
Hold on, please. Before I do that, this is the zakah and what is each one. I need to make sure that you understand as well what are the conditions regarding the nisab. The threshold, let's say they've reached the threshold. The threshold has to fulfill the following, that is, that threshold is above your needs, which are necessary. Which is like, you have threshold, but you need, for example, your food. You need, for example, your rental for a house. So you take that out of that and then see the threshold. If you have money for the threshold. So you have to deduct from this, before you reach that, all your needs. So what is your food for the day and the night, and your clothes, for your rental for the house, okay? All of that. Right. Let's go now to the zakat al-naqdain, al-dhahab wal-fidda, gold and silver. The threshold which is obligatory in them. Now, what is the threshold?
The minimum amount upon which zakat is due upon gold and silver is 20 dinars for gold and 200 dinars for silver.
Dinars? Dirham.
Dirhams.
Is it dinar or dirham?
Dirhams.
So where do you read the dinar? Oh, dinar. Fine. It sounds the same. Or looks the same. Go ahead.
Ali ibn Abu Talib radiallahu anhu narrated that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, if you have 200 dirhams and you have them for 1 year, you must pay 5 dirhams. And there is nothing upon it, meaning gold, until you have 20 dinars. If you have 20 dinars and you have them for 1 year, you must pay half a dinar.
Right. Now, you do not have now at the moment dinars and you don't have dirhams, do you? So we have to really transfer these into things that we know about. Otherwise, we're talking about German language. Can't really understand it. What need somebody to speak German? So what is a dirham, what is dinar? So let's just see what the scholar said about the weight of the dinar and the correct opinion regarding this. The dinar weighs, and you have to write that down, 4.25 grams of gold, 24 carats. Now in gold. Again, I'm going to mention each dinar, in terms of weight-wise, look how precision here, 4.25 grams of 24 carats of gold, because gold has got carats. What is carats? The higher the carat it is, the more pure is the gold. And the highest is 24. This is the scale that the gold has been given. So you got 24, the 22, the 21, the 9, 18. You got 12. 12, that means most of it metal. Gold is very little. 9 carats. 9 carats. 9 carats is not gold. Very little gold. So the higher the number is, then the more pure is the gold, the more expensive it is. So the threshold of the gold now, how much is that? Multiply 20 by 4.25, how much do you get? 80? Come on. 20 multiplied by 4.25, how much? 86. You missed. Do it again. 20 multiplied. You're using calculator now. Really bad we are, aren't we? Quarter of the 20, how much is that? Quarter of the 20, how much is that? 5. Yes? Yes? 5 plus 80, how much is that? 85. Oh, now Hassan woke up. 85. So, can I ask now, how much is the threshold of your currency, banknotes? 85 pounds? Everybody rich now, you have to pay zakat. How much your zakat in money? Now you need a calculator. 85? No. I said the threshold of the money is using gold. The threshold of the gold is 85 grams of 24 carats of gold. So when you have 80, how much? 85. 85 grams, 24 carats of gold. How much is that in money? So I'm going to go now to Gold Live. Look at that. No, it's more than that, the 2,000 something. So I'm going to go to Gold Live. I'm going to Gold Live, gold. And I'm going to go now. It says the gold here. Okay. So the gold here, this is in gram, per gram. So per gram. I want it in GP pounds. You know, something I can't read now these days. Yes, I will. What's that? Very close, mashallah. Right. Yes, I've got it. It's 30 pounds per gram of gold. So I multiply now 30 by 85. is equal to 2,550. So if you have got less than 2,550, there is no zakah on you. But that fluctuates because your pound is fluctuating. I'm going to say a pound of rubbish. It's fluctuating with the Brexit at the moment, going up and down. So if you have a rally on London against the Brexit, the pound will go up. You have a rally going against with the Brexit, it will go down. Okay. So it's going falling down. You know, the last 4 days, 5 days. I watch the pound all the time. Look at it. 5 days, drop down about 2, 3, 4 pence. Then it goes up. It's not subtle at all. You don't feel it here because you're buying with the pounds. You're buying to the shop, and the shop doesn't say to you, sorry, your pound is not ready anymore, the pound. You buy with it. It's got the power, but outside has no that power. For those who are going home and transferring their money, they know. When they exchange the money, they're losing a lot. Unless your own currency loses more than the currency of the pound, there's something else. Some of the currency is very weak. Okay? Like the rupees of the Pakistani, really going down more than the pound itself. Yeah. So let's just go to now. So if it is now, this is 85 grams multiplied by the 30 pounds now, because it had reached one day 36 pounds a gram. And one day had reached 25. So fluctuates. So now 2,550. If you had that money for 1 year, lunar year, you have to pay the zakah. How much is zakah? We're going to see it now, inshallah. The silver is different. Nothing to do with the currency or the gold or the money. The silver, it says here, 200 dirham. 200 dirham is basically equivalent to 595 grams of silver. Okay, so 595 is the 2 dirhams. So if I'm going to count this, this is 7 over 10, 7 divided by 10 multiplied by. There's an equation for it, which I haven't got in my book, I've got the old book. But anyway, 595 grams of. So if you have 595 plus for 1 year, then you pay the same amount ratio-wise like the gold and the banknotes, which is 2.5%. Okay? ربع العشر we say, quarter of the tenth, which is what? 2.5%. So if you have 10,000 dinars, ya Hassan, for 1 year, how much do you pay zakah after 1 year? Yalla, shh. Very easy number, you mean. I didn't ask you, who's there? Help him, Hassan. 250. Because each 1,000 is how much? 25. So we said 2.5%. Simple as that. Do you understand that maths or you don't understand maths? Ah, okay. So each 1,000, by the way, the class is going to be turning into maths until this time. I'm telling you, lots of maths inshallah. No, it is maths. It is maths. 2.5% you pay for the silver, the gold, and even the banknotes. So if you had 5,000 kilo of gold, Albert, you got the chicken now, come on. 5,000, that chicken. 5,000 grams of 24 carats of gold. How much gold should I pay from that? Tell them with loud voice. At 5,000, that means 5 kilos of 24 carats of gold. How much gold am I going to be paying for that as a zakah? Give me any grams, it's not money. Give me any grams of gold. Yeah. Anybody? What do you figure out?
1250 for the 5,000.
1250?
1250. 125.
125. Correct. Hassan is waking up now. 125. Because we said the 10,000, 250. So what's the half 250? 125. 125 grams of 24 carats of gold. Right. I've got now, anybody, I'm not going to point myself to anybody, I don't embarrass you. 10,000 of 18 carats of gold. How much should I pay in grams? Yeah, 10,000. Yalla, come on, anybody?
Nothing.
Huh?
Nothing.
Why not?
It's not 24 carat.
No, it's still gold.
You change into 24 carats first and then
Why do I have to change it to 24 carats? What is the ratio? Still 2.5%.
2.5.
So I pay how much? How much you said it before? 10,000, how much?
250.
Tell Hassan, 250. I made it really question, but there you go, 250. But the 250 of 18 carats of gold is definitely not as much in money-wise as the 250 in 24 carats of gold. You understand what I'm talking about? Yeah. No? Yeah. The 250 of pure gold, 24 carats, much, much more expensive than the 250 in 18 carats of gold. Please say yes.
Yes.
Not because you think that. You understand? You're not. Because you shake your head, because if you're not shaking your head, that means it's not clicking. I know that now when it comes to the maths, everybody. We're going to come to the probabilities later on when it comes to the inheritance. That's when I'm going to get a headache. I have concentration. You have to provide us a lot of chicken because there's a lot of food. Right. Now, this person had 10,000, came from nowhere. Pounds, no money. Just 3 months' time, in 3 months' time, it's gone to 1,000. Then the following month, back to 10,000. At the end of the year, how much does he pay? So let's just say today. What's today? The 11th of Safar. Let's say the beginning of Safar. Make it easy. Beginning of Safar. Islamic, remember, it's lunar year. 1st of Safar. Don't count with the lunar system, the solar system. 1st of Safar. You have 10,000. After Safar, Rabi'a Awwal, Rabi'a Thani. 3rd month, let's say Ramadan. It's gone back to down 1,000. In Shawwal, the following month, back to 10,000. I want to know how much did he pay at the end of Muharram, which is just before Safar. How much did he pay? What do you think? No.
1,000.
Huh? 1,000?
That's the one issue.
Hassan?
2,500.
depends on the month.
Huh? What?
Would he do 10,000 minus the 1,000?
He said 10,000.
Yeah.
And then it's gone to Ramadan to 1,000 after 6 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. Then after a month, it's back to 10,000. At the end of that year, from the beginning he had 10,000 to that, which is Safar, beginning of Safar. How much should he pay? Nothing. Correct. Because it comes below the threshold. So once he goes to the threshold, now he has to, all of that to be now counting from where? From Shawwal. Do you understand me now? You're going to count from where? So all of that from Safar to Ramadan, you're going to pay nothing because it's gone to down 1,000. So in Shawwal, it's gone to 10,000, I start from Shawwal. Do you understand that? So I have to count, it has to be through the whole year. If it fluctuates, but it doesn't go below the what? You come through the threshold, you start from the beginning. Now, you knew this, but don't use trick. What's the trick? Hanafi madhab allows the following, which is not allowed. That person's got gold. Let's say 1 kilo of gold. A lot of money. Before the end of the year, what he does, he gives it a gift to his wife. It's not a gift. Because you want to run away from what? The zakat. Then after the years pass, give me the money back. We go back. Because it's allowed to give a gift and it's allowed to take it back. Well, if the wife, she is clever, I don't know, it's a gift, I'm not going to give it to you, it's mine. Go on, go to the police. But anyway, that's what they do. But that is haram. Even though the gift is ownership. You give it to somebody, it's ownership. Because you are intentionally wise, trying to get away from the zakah. It's haram, manipulation. Okay? So the zakah is to be paid on the threshold, as long as the threshold had held itself, the minimum, until the end of the year, which is the lunar year. Okay? There will be more calculation as well when we come to the livestock. So the 595 is from the silver. Okay? 595 from the silver. So if you have more than 595 for 1 year, you pay still 2.5%. So about 10 kilo of silver, how much grams of silver should I pay now? Come on. Don't disappoint me. Huh? I said 10 kilos of silver. How much grams should I pay in zakah?
5,000.
Anybody? Come on, Hassan.
We need to 2.5%.
0.25.
Anybody please help me. You have 10 kilos of silver. Still 250, man. Gold is talking the same thing as the gold. Same ratio, 2.5. Huh? You didn't say 2.5, I didn't hear the 250. I didn't hear it. 250, correct you are. Maybe they went down, but not sure. 250. Do you understand, guys? The same thing, 2.5%. So why are you linking to the gold now? The ratio is to do with the ratio, nothing to do with the gold, silver, and banknotes. The threshold is different. Do you understand me now? So if a person had 10 kilos of silver, how much silver in grams should he pay Sulaiman? Please. So 25 for each thousand. It's as simple as that. 25 grams for each thousand. Yes? Okay. You're getting better and better. This person, he has 2,000 pounds money. Son. And he had 50 grams of 24 carats of gold. And he has 500 grams of silver. And they were for 1 year. How much zakah should he be paid?
Okay, well done.
I'm going to ask again. He had 2,000 pounds of money. And he has 50 grams of 24 carats of gold. And he has 500 grams of silver. The year had passed. How much should he pay? Yeah. You calculate, you want to use calculator, you want to see an answer, come on. Yeah.
2.5%.
Anybody got to say to something? Don't worry, say it.
It's 200. No, so it's 50 for the money. And then for the gold is 2.5. No.
So nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing special.
None will go threshold. You don't add. We don't add. We don't add. Do you understand me? Except for the scholar, they said, because the money is gold, some of them they add. And I follow those scholars. Do you understand? The silver does not add to the gold. But does the gold add to the money? Because with the money we have evaluated according to the one, to the gold. Because there was no money at the time of the Prophet. It was gold and items to be swapped. There was no, like, for example, £5 notes in the Queens and all that. There was nothing like that. It was gold. Even the coin was made of gold, proper gold. So even if the currency falls down, doesn't mean I've got gold with me. So you add the gold and the money, but you don't add the silver to the gold. So in this case, the scholar, they say, you have to pay zakah. You have to add the 50 grams of 24 carats of gold. How much is that? To the money which you got in 2,000, and you have to add it together. You understand what I'm saying? But if it's silver and gold, each one on its own. So if you have 500 of silver grams, there's no zakah. Even if you have 50 grams of gold, which you have no zakah, you can't add them together. Or if you have 2,000 pounds, which is below the threshold, you don't add it to the silver, but you add it to the gold. Wallahu ta'ala a'lam. Same thing with the sheep and the cows and the camels. So if you have less than the threshold of the camels and less than the threshold of the sheep, but if you put them together and you sell them the money, you become a threshold owner. Still, you don't pay zakat because you don't add sheep on its own, camels on its own, and the cows on its own. Understood? Right. Let's go now to the zakat, the jewelry. Last thing.
Zakah on jewelry. Zakah is obligatory on jewelry due to...
Can I ask you to stop here? Because I'm just looking at the time. I need to go 15 minutes ago. I have to leave all the time right here from 6:30. Inshallah, 6:30. So if you have any questions regarding what we've heard, by the way, Zakah will finish in 3 classes maximum, inshallah. So make sure that you attend these 2 classes. You're going to get more calculation-wise. Yeah. Have any questions?
What is the purpose to us humans for paying zakah?
What is the purpose of the zakah? Those are humans. Number 1 is to circulate the money. When you have zakah, you circulate the money. The money goes to the poor from the rich. Number 2, it prevents the people to hold their money. It will make them to invest in the money. Imagine that you got lots of money. If you don't invest it, the zakah is going to come eat from it. Imagine you got 1 million. How much is zakah for the million? I'm listening. 1 million pounds. How much zakah you pay per year? Huh?
25,000.
25,000, not 2,500. 25 grand you pay for a million. That's a lot of money, isn't it? For the millionaire, oh, that's too much for me. So he will start investing his what? His million. When he invests it, he has no currency. Then he will not pay the zakah. Only on the savings. Only on the savings, by the way. So if you bought lots of chicken, Mr. Albert, no zakah on the chicken. We're going to employ people. More chicken, you need more workers, isn't it? So that person is poor, it gets a job now. He will produce zakah. That's even better. Understand that? We're going to talk about, inshallah, urul tijara. Is there any zakah on the merchandise and trading? Inshallah, for that. Subhanakallah bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Is that okay?